Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Conservation for All. In this series, I take scientific studies on conservation and break them down for the everyday audience. I'll try to translate that technical jargon so it doesn't get in the way. Today, we'll explore how video games interact with themes of conservation and if they can be used for good. Fact 1. I love video games. They provide enjoyment, thrill, and social connection in a relatively low-effort format. I can switch on my game and play for a couple hours in the comfort of my own home. Fact 2. I enjoy doing conservation work. I get satisfaction from having accomplished something for a good cause while also enjoying being outdoors. So what if there was a way to combine these two interests to benefit the environment? Usually this is the part of the video where I go over any words that I think may be tricky and break them down so we're all on the same page. But I think these sources are actually really good about explaining their terms, even going so far as to define game itself as a structured activity carried out for pleasure according to certain written or unwritten rules. The main paper I'm going to focus on is one by Sandbrook and colleagues, who did a review of the gaming industry and identified ways in which they think video games can be utilized to benefit conservation causes. And to do this, they broke them down into 3 categories: games for behavior change, games for fundraising, and games for research, monitoring, and planning. In the first category, these are games that could lead to a change in a player's real-life behavior just as a result of playing them. For example, Pokemon Go, which was released in 2016, forced people to walk around their neighborhood and beyond to catch new Pokemon, hatch eggs, and battle gyms. It also had the secondary effect of getting them outside, which could lead to an increased connection to nature. Additionally, there's the story of Jan Mardenborough, a young British man who played countless hours of the racing simulation game Gran Turismo. Although he had never raced a car professionally, his virtual skills translated to success on the track once given the chance. He's now a professional motorsports driver. As you can see, there are games that, if you play them enough, could actually lead to noticeable behavior change. The second category, games for fundraising, is a lot more straightforward. This is where proceeds from a video game can directly fund a conservation entity. For example, in the game Sims Social, you can buy an in-game panda representative of the World Wildlife Fund's mascot for about $1.75. And altogether, the community has fundraised about $40,000 for the WWF. And finally, we have games for research, monitoring, and planning. These ones are a little more practical, in which the actions of players can actually be applied to current conservation work. For example, in the game Fraxinus, you score points by identifying patterns in the genetic code of the Cholera fungus, which threatens trees throughout the world. This is current ongoing research and can be beneficial to scientists. Additionally, there's the Fate of the World game, which has players devise possible solutions to climate change. These are then run through current climate change models and could lead to possible solutions. However, simply designing video games is not going to magically solve our conservation issues. There are drawbacks to this approach. For example, games tend to oversimplify the causes of environmental issues. It isn't as simple as resetting the simulation and tweaking some numbers. There's legislation, regulation, and community attitudes that one must consider. Additionally, if the conservation themes are not explicitly spelled out, it's possible that players will use the game to distance themselves from reality, choosing to experience that world over the real one. Thanks for joining me as I break down this paper on potential interactions between video games and conservation issues. As usual, I will list my sources in the description so you can check it out yourself, which I highly recommend. Your interpretation may differ from mine. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will try to answer as best I can or point you towards someone who can. My question for thought this time is, do you think having fun video games about conservation would encourage people to actively engage or stay home to play the game? Have a great day.